Hello, BookTube, and welcome to June on the Range 2024. This is the third year for Michael K. Vaughan's June on the Range, and I was there in the dawn of the opening of the range, and we had some range wars as well. But the sluice gates were open, and we just flooded out. Last year I didn't do quite so well because I think it was June when I found out that I had to move, so everything just went it fell down. um, I'm co-host again this year, but I still can't find some books that I want to use, so I'm gonna have to get around that another way. Normally I've been reading some dime novels, some Western dime novels, and one of them is The Steam Man of the Plains, and I still have a number of stories to read in some books, but where they are is anybody's guess at this point. And also another collection of dime novel westerns that I wanted to get to, and I don't know where it is. However, since then, I think it was July and August, that the final two volumes of the Clifford D. Simak short stories, or the collected short fiction, was put out. And that has the final two uh, Western stories that he wrote. The first year in 2022, I guess that would have been, yes, I read the 12 stories that were available. And I will read those because I do know where those volumes are. So I'll read the final two. So, see, I can always get Clifford Simak in, anywhere. It's not very difficult. And if we're going to do anything on war again, well, I'm all set. I can do some Simak stories as well. And even, yeah, well, I'll stop it there. But yeah, it's my Simak 2024, so I'm combining everything. Now, but I won't be doing the dime novels unless I can find the books that I need to read. The prompt, well, it's sort of prompt. So the idea is to read westerns, and but there is kind of a prompt. I guess the first couple of weeks are read a Louis L'Amour and read a Zane Grey. Well, I've been reading the Sackett series, and I've been reading them in chronological order, so I don't want to mess with that. But I can't find, because I was going to read two of them because they're short. The fifth and sixth one, which is, I think, Ride the River, I think it's called, or Bend in the River. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember now. And then Daybreakers, which I think was the first one that he actually wrote. But those are the next two, and I can't find those either. I can find a number of the others, but I can't find that one. So if I can't find the Louis L'Amour ones, I won't be doing a Louis L'Amour. I'm not going to search out anything else to read of his. But I do have, I think, three or four. I have another Zane Grey, but here's the Zane Grey ones that I have: the Lone Star Ranger. This is Pinnacle Westerns, um, and they're newer copies because it was too expensive to buy the used ones, the nice used ones. These aren't very good covers, but and then the Last Trail. This I think will be at the top of my list to read because it's the shortest. And then Wildfire. But any of these, I might wind up reading two of them, but I'm not sure. The other thing that I wanted to continue to read about is I didn't get to do it in 2023 because I think it was 2022 that I did. I read Alan LeMay's, I think it's Alan LeMay's Searchers, which that novel was based, what the film, the John Wayne, John Ford film, was based on. But he sort of loosely based his story on the sort of kidnap of Cynthia Parker, just very loosely. But I got really interested. I've always been interested in that, but I read a book that was like it was a film book slash literary sort of investigation book and history book, looking into the real story of Cynthia Parker and how Alan LeMay and others have dealt with it, and other and in film as well. Uh, but last year, I think it was that Summer. Sorry, Summer. I've lost the name of your channel. Uh, it used to be Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats or something like that. I remember that, but I'll put down the proper link down below anyway. But she mentioned this one here, Ride the Wind. And it says it's the story of Cynthia Ann Parker and the last days of the Comanche. Now, I think this is a romantic sort of novel, but I'm up for it to see how they deal with it. It's a bit longer. It's 600 pages, so I might I'll see how things go. I might delve into this because I wanted to get to some. I do have a few books on the history of the Comanche, and I think I have a biography of Quanah Parker, which was her son. But this one doesn't really, it's not going to be anything great, I don't think, because if you look at uh, if you can see, that's not what Cynthia Parker looked like, you know. And it was anything but romantic. There was no romance in this thing, as much as people have tried to write into the story. It was a horrible experience. But because she was kidnapped when she was 9 years old in the earlier mid 1830s. Um, so yeah, so that is another possibility. But as I say, if I can find the other stuff, then I'll be chopping and changing as and when. But I am looking forward to June on the Range. So like every year, I want to do dime novels. Well, I'm finished with Simak. I will be this year. But read something with regards to Cynthia Parker or the Comanche, that type of thing, and also Zane Grey, and as long as the Sackett books until they run out for me. But I'm not going to read them just during June on Range. Well, this year I probably won't be reading them. But anyway, I'll list all the other great co-hosts down below. As I said, it was created by Michael K. Vaughan. I remember him doing the video. And before even the video was over, I sent him a message. Count me in. I've got some Simak I need to read for this. So yeah, so it's been fun though. And I've rediscovered Zane Grey, who I really, really like. Louis L'Amour, not so much, but I want to get through the Sackett saga because I like the Sacketts. But I think that's where I'm going to end with Louis L'Amour. But anyway, thank you, BookTube, and I will see you next time. Take care.